Welcome to the Island Experience. My name is Orlando, the Island Chef. We're doing healthy choices from Ladea Resort, the beautiful Ladea Resort in Soufrière. Today we're going to show you Dasheen. Now of course the name of the restaurant is called Dasheen, so simple ideas by using Dasheen as a chips. Now we're going to show you a Dasheen chips. We're also going to show you a simple idea of doing chicken wings, which is very with a barbecue flavor. And then we'll do our saltfish fritters, which you all know as akra. But let's start with our Dasheen. Now Dasheen itself is a root vegetable. Here in the island of St. Lucia, and of course many other islands around the world, you'll find this root vegetable. It looks pretty beautiful, or maybe not. However, it is about the vegetable, and you treat it like a potato. Some people call it tanya, and itself is a historical way of using yams. You can play around with it by doing chips or crumbs. Today we're going to show you how to do a nice Dasheen fries. First of all, you take your Dasheen and get a nice cut the end right here. Now in the Dasheen you see this wonderful white. As it cooks, it goes an awful purplish color. But again, that's great, you know. Now we're going to cut the end right here. Now a lot of people, especially in the island, sometimes like to all the vegetables up here and cut. You don't want to do that. What you want to do down below, you take your Dasheen and cut down below right round. And keep turning it right around there. Now making sure that you don't cut too deep into the Dasheen. And now we're going to use, after that, use a mandolin. Your mandolin is a very simple tool which allows you to slice your vegetables very thinly. It is about the Caribbean. Now, this is an international piece of equipment. What you got to do with that equipment there, take a mandolin and slice. Very gently. Okay, and now what we're going to do, take a little oil in our pan. Now of course, I'm back to my old traditional wonderful coal pot. However, for those people who are not into the coal pot, I'm sure a stove will do a great job. But you know what? I'm feeling the love still on my coal pot. A little oil in the pan. Now the oil I'm using is a nice vegetable oil. Of course, you can also use olive oil, and get a nice smoky flavor. As I'm sure as you look around this place, you think, where the hell where is that guy? Where are we? We're actually in one of our rooms here where we do a nice dining experience for our guests. You put your Dasheen into the oil there. Now, make sure the oil is very, very warm, or very hot to say. What you're doing actually is getting you're doing your Dasheen chips. Now I'm sure back home in the UK and back around the region you may have Dasheen, crisp as we call it. So these are Dasheen chips. A nice little turn. Got a bowl right here. What we're going to do, transfer our chips into our bowl in a minute. Put it in your bowl. Splash all that over there. Transfer it out the way. Get rid of those. Now of course, when you come to the islands, you can also do Dasheen bowls, again, Dasheen fries, but Dasheen chips work really, really well. And then you add your Cajun spice to your Dasheen fries, and you're good to go. And of course, it's all about that love, So when you're eating your wonderful Dasheen chips, you got it flavored. Now, of course, it's our first of our 3 little canopies. For those people doing our canopies is a tasters before you have your appetizers. Okay, so we're going to start with our first tasters here, which is our Dasheen fries right in there. Keep it very simple. And now we're going to move on to doing our next step of our canopies, would be our wonderful saltfish fritters, which you guys know as akra or fish cakes, but simply saltfish fritters. Now, to make saltfish fritters, I can tell you 101 ways, but I'm Caribbean by nature and British by born. And working in St. Lucia with being the island chef, you're the two of my love, So simple ideas, and then of course if you can't get money stuff at home, simple ideas you can use is your curry powder, you got some scallions, some peppers, of course the love seasoning, island seasoning, Orlando seasoning and all that stuff. And of course, our salted fish. Now, salted fish was interesting actually. It has a real history of European influence. Everybody looks at the Caribbean and thinking, wow, you know, salted fish all over the Caribbean. Of course, it is all over the Caribbean. It came from Europe, which they call bacalao. Now, bacalao in itself is a wonderful dry cod, which has been dried and processed and stuck on the ships in historical ways and sailed to the Caribbean. So, of course, in all the Caribbean now, we have salted fish in different forms. We have a bowl. And what we're going to do, we're going to take our salted fish. Now, the salted fish, you need to look at it and say to yourself, well, let's look at the process here. The process in a salted fish actually is soaking overnight. Takes away some of the salt, and then boil for about 15-20 minutes the next day. Again, I would check it again, make sure you've got some of this, reduce the salt. However, if you're going to boil it in milk, it's a nice little tip as well to take away a little bit of salt. Okay? So a tip for today's program, you can boil your saltfish in milk. Tip 1 for today. Anyway, put our saltfish in our bowl. And once you boil it, you flake it, and then you saute it with a little peppers, onions, little scallions. What we're going to do now, we're going to add a few more scallions to that. Okay, so scallions to you guys will be chives and also spring onions. Okay? We also have some peppers. And of course, gotta have the seasoning. Without the seasoning, you gotta have the love. Okay? So, again, that goes right in there. And then, a little curry powder. And then we're going to add our eggs. You never know where you're going to get into an egg. So of course, it's always important never to break your egg directly into your food. Because as they say, you never know what's in the egg. So I would suggest that you break your egg over a container. Of course, you check your egg out soon. Ooh, interesting. And then, break another one there. Put our egg right in there. And then get a whisk, and we're going to mix gently there. Make sure it's there very nice. And now we're going to do the flour. Just give a little nice touch in there. 1, 2, 3. And just gently stir. Now you're looking for a figure of 8. Now that figure of 8 is just, you don't want to start whisking it straight away. You're actually getting the movement. Getting your mixture to talk to your flour gently. Always with love, you know. Your mixture is there beautifully. Now for me, I'll take one more flour in there. As you notice there, I'm not using no salt. I'm not a big fan of salt. I think salt is great, but I mean to a moderation. Keep moving around. How about a little bit more of our Cajun spice? That works really well. Keep moving it around. And there we have it there. Very nice mixture. Now what we're going to do for that now is transfer to our frying pan. And you actually just take your fritters and just drop it in there slowly. And that's our traditional way of doing the fritters. Goes right on there. And then I don't know if Mom will be proud of what I'm doing here, but I want to know she'll enjoy the flavor. And I'm sure many of you people who have, especially in the region, in the Caribbean, we all know that it's down to our flavors. Okay. Over there. Something simple like a saltfish fritters. Now, we're going to do saltfish fritters now. Turn your board over there, and you want to present your saltfish fritters. But bear in mind, this is for canapes. So our canapes is actually about not the entree or the appetizer, but for the start of a meal. So you put your fritters right there. Okay, it's very simple. What you have there is your saltfish fritters, just done you know, keeping it very, very nice and keeping it very simple and flavoursome. And that's the start of our wonderful saltfish fritters.